because they will be simply considered as their activities are anti-national or anti.
Yes.
So, and made a very powerful argument. Many others also supported it. Then, while intervening, Sardar Sharan Singh, Foreign Minister, say, and she also intervened, that time is not appropriate. So it will have to be considered that, and I will request the member not to insist on it, because if we straightway reject it, then it will have a demoralizing effect on those who are fighting.
Yeah.
And situation, practical and pragmatic situation, does not allow us to recognize it right now. Yeah. Therefore, let this be.
It's incredible.
So I did not insist on.
I just find it incredible, Mr. Mukherjee. Your political rise, as a consequence of your abilities, you were in your late 30s being accepted. You were such a rising star, and that was an incredible period, wasn't it, for you? This whole period when you joined in from '69, right through. But I want to talk to you about your relationship with Indira Gandhi, because it was such a strong relationship.
Because she built me up.
I know, she built you up.
She built me up, and I can give you a couple of small incidents. Then I was finance minister. I was appointed finance minister in 82 January. 15th January I took over. Earlier I was commerce minister and minister of simultaneously steel, mines, etc., etc. So then she asked me next day that would you be able to present the budget as usual? I said yes. On the normal day, because last working day of February, as time was short. Yeah. So I said yes, I will be able to do it. So I started doing my work with the officers. I started again. Many years ago, Subramaniam started. Thereafter, it was discontinued.
Were you the youngest finance minister India has ever had?
I think I became finance minister at the age of 45 or 46.
So 82.
I think 47. So nobody has become finance minister. Chidambaram was finance minister, but I think he was in 50s. When he became finance minister in 96, I think he was 50s. Yeah. He was born in 45 or so, like that. So he would be 51. So then I read one book of Toppler, not Third Wave. So it was very interesting, and in that book there was a description of Indira Ji when she went to meet Nixon seeking support for Bangladesh cause and explaining them. Then she had an interaction with the American intellectuals during her stay. So Toppler was mentioning that event in his book, and there she mentioned that everybody was talking of Indira Gandhi's charm, Indira Gandhi's magnanimity, his graciousness, but the main purpose for which he is talking to them, they did not show so much interest. So I underlined those portions, sent the book to her for. So she said, thank you very much. I sent a small note. That we used to do, exchange notes. She sent me a small note and said that thank you, I did not read this book. Thank you for sending me the copy. But I am wondering if this part of the year my finance minister has time to read Toppler, then what is going to happen to budget?
You had a fantastic relationship. Fantastic. But Mr. Mukherjee, you also stood by her when she was down. When a lot of people were against her. And let me cite something specific. Even after the emergency with the Shah Commission happened, you did not depose before the Shah Commission. You never spoke against her. Your loyalty to Indira Gandhi at that point of time. I know that you were under pressure from other political leaders, the opposition leaders, the then ruling party. Tell me about that time.
No, but first thing I would like to say that those who depose, it is for them to defend why they took a particular course of action. But to me it was very clear, though I was a junior minister, I had independent charge of banking and revenue, but nonetheless I was Minister of State, not Cabinet Minister. But I always remember that I am a member of the Council of Ministers.
Yeah.
I am not employee. I am minister. I am ministerial colleague of the Prime Minister. Therefore, whatever decision I am taking, responsibility is mine. Buck stops at me. Buck does not go anywhere. It cannot be shifted to anywhere. As minister, it is my responsibility, and exactly I told that to Justice Shah.
But in politics, when political winds are blowing differently, people change their...
No, that's true. That's true. But there I refuse to go by that wind.
That's what
I was quite clear and convinced that it would be highly immoral on my part to pass on the buck, because, and at the same time, you may call it, many people call it, describe me as a knave, but I think I was correct. I said these political bubbles will burst in no time.
Yeah.
After all, what happened? To my mind, till today I am saying that in 1977 there was a change in the government, which is natural in parliamentary politics. Therefore, in one of my intervention in 1977 in Rajya Sabha, I said somebody is describing it as a second liberation. Somebody describing it as something, what has happened is unprecedented. But when I look at the Council of Ministers of today, I find Babu Jagjeevan Ram. I found Hemavati Nandan Bahuguna. I find couple of other leaders who were members of Mrs. Indira Gandhi's government.
Yeah.
This is nothing but a change of the opinion of the people to have a new government instead of the old government which they elected in 1971, which is quite natural in parliamentary politics. Maybe your success is, in terms of number, very fantastic. Nothing wrong in it. 1971 it happened, 2/3 majority. So I was political, till today I am telling you, Arnab, very frankly, I was never cowed down by these type of atmosphere or ambience which was created.
You were certainly, you had your share of critics, but nobody will criticize you for not being steadfast. You were steadfast. Now I want to talk about the village boy who went on and the same risk-taking ability, you see, Mr. Mukherjee, that you spoke about, I think you displayed in 1982. Because when you were finance minister, was it in 1981 or 82? 81. I think there was a huge line of credit, billions of dollars, $5 or $6 billion at that time, huge amount of money, which India took. And generally the view was, Mr. Mukherjee, that once a country gets caught in that debt trap, then you can never come out of it. Right? And we have doomsdayers every time. Even nowadays there are enough people who say everything's wrong with the Indian economy. I remember two cartoons, and I'm going to show it as this interview is being telecast. One cartoon in which the IMF bosses are telling you off for asking for money, calling you a poor man, and another in which you, with Indira Gandhi standing behind you, are giving the money back. Nobody expected you to give the money back. India to give the money back. You took a risk. Yeah. But you did it in a couple of years. Tell me, what was the risk you took? The village boy took when he became finance minister.
I'll just give you a little background of this situation. Yes. When 1980 we came to power, and Mr. Venkatraman was the finance minister.
Yes.
I was the commerce minister.
Under him. Yes.
And there was balance of payment problem. So Venkatraman used to tell me that, look, there is balance of payment problem. We may have to borrow money from the IMF. Actually, negotiations were going on. I was not very enthusiastic, because what happened, I was not very enthusiastic in the sense, because the export figures which I was getting, there were a lot of discrepancies, because Director General of Commercial Intelligence Office in Calcutta, they collect the figures.
Yes.
There were some strikes or things like that, so the actual figures were not coming, there was a gap.
Okay.
So I was telling Mr. Venkatraman that there may be, the picture which you are having, there may be a difference. We may have some more numbers in our favor. But he became little disturbed and he said, no, let me negotiate. Terms and conditions are quite good. I think Dalla ratio was the ED of CMD of IMF,
Yes.
and Mr. Narasimhan, a brilliant officer who later on became governor of RBI and my finance secretary. He was ED at that time, ED in IMF. So negotiated 5 billion SDR was given to India as extended funding facilities.
Yes.
So when we received that, then many people told me that you are in debt trap, you won't come out. Then I found out that one of the major problem of our BOP is the oil prices. Then we discussed with the oil ministry people. I think Lavraj Kumar was the secretary of the petroleum ministry at that point of time. I discussed with him also, and other ONGC and other people. And I borrowed money and I stepped up the production of the domestic oil. Domestic oil production, then Bombay High and all those started. So from 10 million ton, by 84 we enhanced the domestic crude production by 29 million tons, from 10 to 29. And that relieved me on the balance of payment front substantially, because at some point of time it was thought that we may be self-sufficient in the oil import in those days.
Yes.
At some point of time. Therefore it gave me great relief, and so I decided that let me not withdraw the last tranche of the
IMF
back, because there will be some other complicated issues and other things. So I told them, and in my budget speech of 1984 I announced that we have decided, and we have already communicated to the IMF. And then of course I jokingly told that many distinguished members advised me, many self-styled Cassandras told me, self-styled Cassandras told me that I will come out of IMF building in a stretcher. But I can tell you that I am come out of IMF building on my foot, head on my shoulder, and erect.
That's the second cartoon of R.K. Lakshman.
That's the second cartoon.
Where you're returning the money and Indira Gandhi is saying, give the poor man the money back.
Yeah.